What's up everyone? Welcome back to the channel. I am Brian and I have what should be a very fun video today. Before me I have some rare unicorns Carryology Mystery Ranch collaborations. In fact, we have a unicorn and a dragon, and both of these are brand new packs. I have never seen what they have to offer. I am basically doing this video completely cold, and there's a reason for that, because I have two Unicorn 2.0s behind me in olive and multicam, and I got intrigued and sucked in to the bag because I thought it was just gorgeous. I thought it just looked absolutely beautiful, but the sad reality, at least for myself, has been it's just a bit too small. Now, people say the Unicorn 2.0 can actually pack a lot. If you adjust to its style, it's a very narrow pack. But for me personally, I just can't get as much stuff as I'd like to get into the pack, especially using the existing kind of organization that I already have. And that's what led me to these packs, because I really like the Mystery Ranch style, build quality, comfort. I just want more volume. So both of these packs offer more volume. They came prior to the 2.0. We've got the Unicorn 1.0 and the Dragon, and I don't know which is better or why, so I'm going to evaluate them right here for the first time. And just for fun, I am going to pick a definitive winner. We're gonna call it the better pack, for better or worse. And again, this is just my opinion, but let's get into it. First off, both of these packs are absolutely gorgeous. My first impression just looking at the Unicorn 1.0, I'm not really a fan of just all black. I mean, it's functional, but it doesn't really kind of scratch my itch for flair. This pack, because of the mix of materials and build quality, just really wowed me in person in a way that it never has in the photographs. So let's actually get this one socked away and look at the Unicorn 1.0 first. All right. First impression, it is a much larger pack visibly than the Unicorn 2.0. In fact, we can measure this out. 2.0 appears to be about 20 inches on the back side. For the one, oh, we're looking around 21 inches. So I guess maybe it actually isn't a whole lot larger, but it is supposed to, I think, carry 2-ish more liters, 24-liter pack. The patch on top is absolutely beautiful. If you're into patches, which I generally have not been, the patch is a gorgeous patch. Obviously, kind of front and center, very bold Mystery Ranch Carryology collaboration. Much more pronounced than the smaller tags that are on the 2.0. I know some people are a fan of this, some aren't, some people black it out. I personally have no problem with it. I like kind of the attention it draws to the fact that it is a collaboration pack. The other thing that I noticed right off the bat that you don't necessarily notice in photos, but you definitely see it right away up front, is the combination of the X-Pack VX material against Cordura. There are different panels and different materials, and in fact, probably the strangest part about this is they used a VX material on this little front panel right here, but the top is actually Cordura. And I don't understand that decision, because I would think you would want the top to be a waterproof material, and you've got the VX right there. Just take it up to the top so that when this gets wet, it's not gonna soak through. So not sure I fully understand that decision, other than perhaps for just the aesthetics of it, because they have a nice mix match of VX Cordura and Cordura on the side pockets. Up top in the brain, we've got a mesh pocket. This is all very familiar if you're familiar with the Unicorn 2.0. And I think that's kind of the big thing about the Unicorn 1.0, because obviously the 2.0 is made to be a iterative version of the 1.0 design elements, and so it's gonna feel very familiar. This is new. Definitely did not have this on the 2.0. The 2.0 just has a single strap. This has what appears to be kind of hip-hugging, foam padded wings. So I guess you can probably carry a heavier load more comfortably. And then it has, let's see, for attachment, this is an interesting hook design. So it's not a clip, it's almost kind of like a G-hook aluminum type of material, and you run that through, and that's how it holds it in place. I don't know if I like that. It actually is pretty smooth, but it's definitely non-traditional. Haven't seen that setup before. Futura harness, if you want to know how to adjust this, I've got a video dedicated to that specifically. Let's get the front of this pack open, tri-zip. Now let's see, the one thing about the 2.0 is the zipper in the center gets caught kind of right at this fold, and I'm wondering if this one's gonna, yep, this one has the same issue. You gotta kind of, well, that didn't work. Let's see if we can pull through it. There we go. So pull through that. I think you can put some clips here and really kind of mash that material down to help the action of the zipper. I'm sure that that will help if that's something I'm interested in doing. Inside, very similar, very familiar setup. We've got mesh pockets on either of kind of the winged openings. We've got what feels like a lot more just depth and space in here than the 2.0, so it feels very familiar, just kind of supersized as it were, which is interesting because this is the first version. Usually people go larger, bigger, better. On the second version, they actually shrunk it in this instance. We've got a laptop sleeve, some MOLLE webbing on the front. This is an interesting sleeve. It actually has quite a bit of room and some elastic on the side, fixed elastic, so you can kind of grow how much you would put in the laptop sleeve. And notably missing, it would appear, is rear access to the laptop sleeve. So that's a huge change with the 2.0. That is a really nice change with the 2.0. There's a zipper right here so you can get to the laptop without having to go through the top. And if you're someone who has to access your laptop really regularly, I think that's a huge reason to go with the 2.0 if it works for you size-wise. That's kind of a pretty big drawback, I would think, to this design, but again, it is the original design, and so it makes sense that as they iterate over it, they add new features. The other thing that's interesting about this is, I believe, just looking at this, that you can kind of bend all this together and then fold it in underneath here. In fact, I'm sure you can, although I don't necessarily know perhaps the best or most prescribed method. I'm not going to try to sock that away just yet, but there is space right behind there to hide these wings, and as a result, this is a bit curved and pops out in a way that's a little bit different from the Unicorn 2.0. Overall, an absolutely beautiful pack. The black on black is really nice. Let's see how it wears. Oh, I didn't check out the side pockets. Let's check out the side pockets. Again, doing this cold, not sure what I'm missing. I want to make sure I look the bag over and understand all the features. The black VX material that went up the center carries through to the back side of the side pocket. And then we have some organization. Perhaps a water bottle can go behind this, and then a zippered pocket, and a couple of sort of pen organizers, another little sleeve there. This is basically pack cloth nylon that's made out of. And then again on the exterior here, Cordura. So it's kind of interesting because, you know, this is the waterproof, weatherproof material. This can penetrate, but, you know, they didn't put this throughout the entire exterior. I have to imagine that's for looks, and I think it does make the bag look nice versus a solely VX bag all the way through, which the Olive Unicorn 2.0 is. Other side, I'm expecting symmetry, but we'll see. And it does, in fact, look almost symmetrical, except the organization in the front does not have sort of pen pockets. It's got one nice large pocket. Otherwise, the same. Nice Hypalon pulls against every zipper so that you can easily zip things back up. Am I missing anything? I don't think so. I think that pretty much covers it. We've got some loop on the top for a patch panel. Really nice, beautiful straps. Also in Cordura. And I think that about covers it. So let's try this pack on for size and see what I think of it. So I would say similar to the Unicorn 2.0, the harness is going to need some adjusting to my specific size. Overall, I can tell the pack wears much larger on my back than the 2.0 does. It absolutely feels like it's consuming more real estate on my back. One of the issues that I had with the 2.0 was that I couldn't actually get the pad, the bottom pad, to go far enough down my back to feel comfortable. I was barely at the limit of adjustment with the Futura harness to get it to work in a way that I felt was acceptable. On this one, I feel like I'm going to have a lot more room to get that done. I don't know if I'm a fan of this in front. It's kind of not that great to use. Feels a little weird. I don't think I realistically would be using this, but I can tell it does, when cinched in snug, offer quite a bit more support through the lower back area, which actually is a nice touch if I were going to load this out very heavily. Overall, it is a beautiful pack. I think that I personally would love a blend of the 2.0 features and functionality with the 1.0 size and a mix of new and interesting colorways, which means that this has definitely left the door wide open for a 3.0. But let's go check out the Dragon. All right, so next up here, I've got the Dragon, and I'll be honest, this is the pack that I was eyeing first. I specifically was hunting for this pack, and then a package deal came up with the 1.0. So I want to remove my kind of initial bias from assessing both of these. But again, there's a reason that I was drawn to this pack. And first of all, the volume. This pack just looks like it's huge and can swallow anything that I would want to throw at it. And that's kind of the evolution of this hobby. You know, the eye candy sucks you in. The Unicorn 2.0 and how beautiful it is sucked me in, and then as I use it, I realize it's missing some stuff that for me functionally is important. And then I went back and I revisited this Dragon Pack, and this is not something that caught my eye at first, but the more I looked at it and the more I could appreciate how functional it appears, the more I was like, I've got to try that pack out. So I think, you know, from a beauty perspective, the Tri-Zip is just a beautiful pack, but the Unicorn 1.0 being all black is a little bit too simple for me. So I kind of like this mix of black multicam and black in general. And one of the first things that I said about the Unicorn 2.0 when I looked at it was, why didn't they use Dyneema somewhere? And obviously they did with the XDT version, but this Dragon Pack has Dyneema galore, and I love Dyneema personally, so I just think that this is a really, quite frankly, underrated pack, it feels like. I feel like this one should get a lot of love. Not that it doesn't, but I mean, it's not like the most hunted, most sought after pack. In hand, it's really nice. The build quality is gorgeous. Again, not into patches per se, but the patch on top is just really beautiful, really nice colors in play there. Let's go through this guy and see what it has to offer. So up top, similar type of deal with a brain pocket. Does not open as far forward as on the Unicorn 1.0. Otherwise, a similar layout, mesh on the bottom, mesh on the top, zippered pocket. And then this is where it gets interesting, is actually how you open this guy up. So first thing is, it has a beaver tail, which is the other thing that's notably missing from the 1.0 that is on the 2.0. The 1.0 does not have a beaver tail. The Dragon has a beaver tail. The beaver tail is a mix of what feels like Kadura, black multicam Kadura on the front, black Kadura on the back, and Dyneema on the edges with a couple of G-hooks to lock in place. And then we've got an entire front panel here in Dyneema that goes up to the top, and again, I think this is better designed than the 1.0 because Dyneema is going to be weatherproof, and we've got that weatherproofing on the top of the pack so that it won't soak through. How you open this, very different than a Tri-Zip. We got a giant zipper that goes from the top around the sides. You pull both sides down. So it's like a clamshell, but you're taking the brain along with it. You got a really nice opening there, so that makes this a lot more accessible when it's open because you don't have this top flap hanging down here. Now if you pack a lot in the brain, this could be a lot of weight that you're swinging forward, so you know, questionable about that. But once this is open, I love how accessible this pack becomes. Very similar layout otherwise. Mesh pocket up top. Looks like it's X50 X-Pack material actually, now that I see the backside with this laminate. Very similar laptop compartment layout to the Unicorn 1.0. Molly webbing on the front, elastic on the sides. It actually feels a little bit more narrow or a little bit more elasticy top than the 1.0. And otherwise, I think kind of very similar layout inside. So big difference, you don't have the zippered side pockets on the Dragon like you do on the Unicorn 1.0. That is a nice touch to have those zippered side pockets, but if all you're going to do is carry a water bottle, I don't know if it matters. I've also seen people put large kind of organizational pouches in the side of these. These side pockets are gigantic, really, really large. And then we've got a zippered pocket right there as well. So overall, I'm gonna give the main compartment nod to the Dragon. I like the accessibility a little bit better. Let's check out the back of this pack. Other thing to note, which I just did, this beaver tail with the G-hooks is actually really pretty easy to use. On the Cerberus, the Hypalon loop here is so small it's really hard to get it in and out. That's not a problem at all. In the back, this is interesting. This is crazy. I don't know what is going on here. So we've got something hidden. So we've got a loop with a button. Whoa. No way. What? Oh wow, okay, so we have wings for hip support. They're not nearly as comfortable as the Unicorn 1.0 or as large. They're pretty darn stiff. It's gonna be interesting to try this to see if it's comfortable or not. But very cool, we've got a hidden pocket, as it were, a hidden zippered pocket. Not that large, but a nice place to hide something if you want. Then what is going on? This compartment here goes all the way up. So, not sure what type of things you might hide in there. The only access point is through the bottom. But if you've got something kind of long that you want to tuck away that you're maybe not going to get to too regularly, you can hide it all the way up into there. That's pretty cool. And then you can button it in to make sure it stays in place. So that is pretty cool as well. We do have a pouch on the bottom, just like the Unicorn 2.0, to hide the beaver tail if you don't want it out, which is nice. And then it looks like this setup is mirrored on the other side. So let's pop this guy out. Oh, why is this? Is that the same size? Okay, same size. Had me thinking it was larger for a second, but it's the same size. Again, with a zippered pocket, so identical layout on the other side. Let's try this pack on and see what we think. All right, so comfort-wise, pretty comfortable. Again, feels much larger than a Unicorn 2.0 on the back. Feels pretty similar to the Unicorn 1.0 on the back. I'm gonna give the nod, after talking all this trash about it, to the 1.0 for the wings that come off and wrap around the lower back area. These are just really stiff. The other Unicorn 1.0 wings are larger and more comfortable. It's decision time. What do we think? So, both of these packs are absolutely gorgeous in hand, stunning construction, stunning design materials and build quality, especially for a mass-produced pack. The Unicorn 1.0 is honestly more beautiful in hand than I thought it would be. I'm glad that I got my hands on one, even though I wasn't sure that it was something I'd be interested in. But if I had to decide, all factors considered, aesthetics, functionality, beauty, I even forgot. Did I check? I didn't check. Let's see. Hold on, right here. I think I see it. And I think this is the over-the-top kind of feature. Look at that. So we have a zippered laptop access pocket on the Dragon. And this area is nice and large, and that is very convenient. The other thing on the 2.0 is they added a hydration port on the other side that's missing from both the 1.0 and the Dragon. But that clinches the deal right there for me. This pack right here is as functional or close to it as the Unicorn 2.0, where the 1.0 is missing some of those features. It's a larger pack, but it doesn't have all the functional features of the Unicorn 2.0. It doesn't have the laptop access. It doesn't have the beaver tail. And it's not as weatherproof, whereas this guy is weatherproof all the way through. Kind of easier access to the main compartment once you have it open. Laptop access, all these hidden secret pockets and features. Dragon. The Dragon wins, and that's it. That's all I've got for this one. What do you think, though? If you have either of these two packs, which one are you going to? If you could only keep one, which would it be? Please let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. And that's all I've got. So thank you for watching. I appreciate you, and I will see you at the next one soon.